All right, this one we're looking at BB4, which is graphing, graph quadratic functions in vertex form. Okay, so the vertex, if you remember, is the max or the min of the quadratic function. So here, what you want to think about is if we're graphing this, we have f of x is equal to 7x squared. Make a table. So automatically you know that the vertex is going to be 0, 0, and we can prove that. If we put x here and y here, we could say, okay, put in a 0. I'm going to change this a little bit. Scratch that out. We're going to put 7x squared here so you can see the outcome. So if I put 7 times 0 squared, well, that's just 0. So my ordered pair then would be 0, 0. So we're going to put a 0, 0 there. And that's what should have happened. And then pick another point, 1. So 7 times 1 squared is 7. So our ordered pair would be 1, 7. So the wonderful thing about IXL is you only have to get one point, and it'll graph the rest for you. Now remember I told you that when the a term is larger than 1, the parabola gets really skinny. That's exactly what happened right here. Click, you're done. Let's take the next one. So we've got f of x is equal to negative 3x squared. Now automatically we know that our parabola is going to frown at us because it's being reflected over the x-axis. We also know that it's going to be skinnier than a regular parabola because the a, or the leading coefficient there, is the absolute value is larger than 1. So it's going to be a little skinnier than the regular. Do the same thing. So we've got an x, negative 3x squared, and then we're going to get a y. Choose 0. Zeros are always easy. So negative 3 times 0 squared, that gives us 0. And that makes sense because we don't have a b term, we don't have the hk, we don't have any of that. So then let's take 1. So negative 3 times 1 squared, well 1 squared is 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So here the ordered pair was 0, 0, and here the ordered pair is 1, negative 3. So we're going to go 1 and down 3. X squared, that's just the regular parent function. So I'm going to write that over here. F of x is equal to x squared, and again x, and then x squared, and then y. So let's use 0. Well, 0 squared gives us 0, so our ordered pair would be 0, 0. 1 squared would be 1, so that would be 1, 1. And so forth, so on. Now notice how this parabola is a little bit wider than the other ones that we've seen. Okay, 5x squared. I'll do this one, and then I will pause and see if there are any others that I think you might need help with. So we have x, 5x squared. We're going to kick out a y. Let's use 0. So 5 times 0 squared, which is 0. So our ordered pair will be 0, 0. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. And then 1. 5 times 1 squared would be 5. So our ordered pair would be 1, 5. So we've got 0, 0, and 1, 5. Now what happens when things start moving? Nothing much different. So from our previous BB3, we know we've got a transformation going on here. We know our parabola is going to move 9 to the right, and it's going to be vertically stretched by 3. But we also know that our it's not going to move up or down at all because there's no k out here. There's no plus or minus anything. So if it helps you, you could just put plus 0. Now, if you put plus 0, you automatically know that your vertex is going to be 9, 0. And we'll just kind of prove it. So we've got our x, and we've got 3x minus 9 squared, and it's going to spit out a y. So if we put a 0 in, we've got 0 minus 9 squared y. So, oh, I didn't mean to put y there. So 0 minus 9 is negative 9. If we square that, that's 81. So 0, 81. Problem, our graph doesn't go that big. So let's go for a lower number. Why don't we go for 9? So if we go 9, we get 3, 9 minus 9 squared. So 9 minus 9 is 0. 0 squared is 0 times 3 is 0. So that's our vertex, told you. Now what if we did something like, let's do 8, because we want to keep these numbers pretty small. So 8 minus 9, square that. 8 minus 9 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. So we can do our vertex as 9, 0. And we can do our next point as 8, 3. Now that's really interesting, isn't it? All right, so that's how those would work. I wanted to do one more that might be helpful to you. If you notice here, we've got the function f of x is equal to negative 7 x plus 1 squared plus 1. Well, you already know the vertex. Here's your h and k, opposite of this, so negative 1, positive 1. So you already know what the vertex is, and you can place your point there. Negative 1, positive 1. Okay. Now, we can think of a point. I would go with 0 sounds good. So we're going to go with our x as our input. And then we've got negative 7 x plus 1 squared plus 1. And it's going to spit out a y. And all of a sudden, you may also notice that, Ms. Clark, this is going to be a parabola that's facing down, and you would be absolutely right because of this negative, which means it's being reflected over the x-axis. So let's use 0. Got negative 7, 0 plus 1 squared plus 1. So let's see. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. So our ordered pair here would be 0, negative 6. So what we know about that is that 0, negative 6 is our y-intercept. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll see you on the next go-round.